Village Hall. Settlers Cottage is right in front of the Village Hall. Every year they rotate out all the artifacts and whatnot, so you can always learn all about Montgomery's history if you go there and check it out. I do want to mention, I think it's really cool that when they built the Village Hall in Montgomery, they had to knock down some houses that were around Settlers Cottage. And while doing that, they did find, I don't know, so back in the day, when someone was done with something, they'd dig a hole and they'd throw it all in the hole. So they'd find a lot of these holes with all kinds of different, like, pottery or, fine china, just all kinds of stuff. So I think that's super cool. They do sometimes have some of that in there if you want to check that out. So I just wanted to mention that. And let's go on to the next. I know that a lot of them, especially like
Nice stand up. Nice stand up.
Just like living dangerous.
So the last person we're visiting tonight is Herbert Reiss. He's an Aurora fireman who was involved in a major fire downtown Aurora in 1934. He's portrayed by Brian Revels, a senior at Oswego High School. He's had many leading roles, so he's also pretty familiar with acting.
Good evening, everyone. Very kind of all of you to come out here and visit me. Hopefully I don't get very many visitors, so it's nice to have them come. Let me tell you a little bit about myself. My name is Herbert Wallace, and I was born right here in Aurora in 1896. Like most other young people my age, I went to school until I was about 16, then I began working. By the age of 20, I knew I wanted to be a fireman. I was proud to join on to company number 4 as a piper. It was hard work, physically, as well as dangerous work when fighting a fire, but I knew it was important. And it appealed to me more than working in a factory or as a laborer. And I was proud to fight alongside brother firemen, who had the dignity of protecting our village. I was well into my career when I met my future wife. She was lovely, and we had many plans for our future. We were married in 1990. We were then blessed with our first daughter 9 months after that. And then a year after that, our next daughter. And then finally, 2 years after that, our son. Life was happier and fulfilling. My wife Juliet did have some concerns about my job as a fireman, saying how it's very dangerous and inconvenient. I have to leave at random points of the day or night. But all firemen's lives eventually learn to accept it. Then in 1934, the fire, and I'll never forget. That night, January 11th, at 11:30 p.m. I'm working at the Riverside Hotel on Galena Boulevard, saw flames coming out of the Woolworth 5 and Dime store on Run. So we rushed out the first escape onto the hotel roof to get a better look. Seeing the huge flames, he rushed right back down to the hotel lobby and called the fire department as fast as he could. Soon, 5 crews arrived at the scene. And some firemen were actually wearing a new type of mask, one that was clad with air through a long hose, kind of like a deep-sea diver's mask. They filed into the building, first to the basement, or the first and second and third floors. The fire was not too bad. They actually had water sprayed in from the Broadway and water feeds on the building. Crews were also able to mount a wooden stairway to the west side of the building, so they were to climb up onto adjoining roofs and pour water in the central place. Firemen and their leaders, starting at Broadway Boulevard entrances, were lighting the fires. Then, all of a sudden, there was an explosion, and the brick wall front of the building collapsed on the bank. And the hose lines were pinched, and the water that was rushing in was cut off. Immediately, the interior of the structure became a roaring inferno. For hours after the collapse, the firemen who escaped the falling walls worked feverishly at the debris in an effort to rescue their companions. Nearly 100 bystanders, all available police on duty at the firemen, were horror-stricken. The fate of the men that night before, under an avalanche of brick and stone. Everyone frantically clawed at the remains of the debris until their fingers were raw and bleeding. And the scene was complete chaos, with the shrieks of the dying and injured mingled with the cries of anguish of their mates. Miraculously, though, some of my fellow mates were spared. Barty Meach, he was one of them. He was actually trapped under a charred beam, which actually ended up saving his life. And near him was Albert Burgholzer, who was also trapped but under a massive brick. And he was only half conscious. These two men were hopeless, but they were able to take turns in yelling for help. And eventually, they were heard and rescued. Barney's brother, Adolf Meach, who was also a fireman at the scene, was overcome with smoke and fire. Was placed in an ambulance and rushed to St. Charles Hospital in Aurora. But he actually returned. He came back to the scene to continue his fight to save as many of his fellow members as he could. There were many heroes that night. I was not as fortunate. I gave my life fighting the fire in the Woolworth store. My body was found later in the smoking rubbish. Captain John Peterson, and also a man who gave his life that night, was captured under the brick wall front that collapsed. His body, once again, was found after hours of shoveling through the debris. The final body found that night was found after a 16-hour search. It was that of Charles Hoffman. He was under a pile of debris in front of the store by the sidewalk. There were many tragedies and heartbreaks that night. Those three of us that gave our lives, we knew the risks of our job, and we did it anyways. The specter of the Chicago fire 50 years earlier haunted each of us. We so badly didn't want that to repeat in our own hometown. And so we worked and fought each fire, knowing that we were helping to make our village a safer place. And that's something that we will happily lay down our lives for. Although it is sad that we have to leave our families so early, that our wives and children have to go on without us.